So friends, if you ever wanted to see a dramatic example of just how deceitful, how devious, how dirty some of Donald Trump and Pam Bondi's DOJ officials can be, a DOJ lawyer was just caught lying to a federal judge about the circumstances of attempted deportations of children to Guatemala. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, it's hard to even believe a story like the one I'm about to share. A DOJ lawyer lied to a DC federal district court judge, telling that judge that there are parents in Guatemala who have children in the United States, and those parents were demanding that their children be deported from the U.S. to Guatemala, and that was a lie. In fact, the lawyer went so far as to chastise the judge, criticize the judge for keeping these children separated from their parents in Guatemala, who were demanding that their children be deported. That was a lie. Indeed, it was a lie that was withdrawn, that was retracted, that was exposed by a subsequent DOJ lawyer who went into court after the first lawyer made those representations. Let's start with the new reporting. This from Politico. Headline: DOJ backs off claims about Guatemalan children it sought to deport. The Trump administration had claimed the parents desperately wanted their children back. And that article begins: the Trump administration backed off claims Wednesday that hundreds of Guatemalan children it attempted to send to the country last month before a judge blocked the abrupt weekend deportations had been requested to return by their parents. A Justice Department attorney acknowledged that the government's earlier claims had no factual basis and, in fact, had been contradicted by a review by the Guatemalan government. That review indicated that parents for most of the children could not be located, and those who were largely suggested they wanted their children to remain in the United States for economic opportunities. The reversal is significant. Last week, White House officials and Trump allies hammered U.S. District Judge Sparkle Suknanen, a Biden appointee, for blocking the deportations, just hours after hundreds of children, awakened in the middle of the night, had been rushed onto waiting airplanes, accusing her of seeking to block children from reunifying with their families. Their attacks were rooted in representations made by senior Justice Department attorney Drew Ensign at a hastily scheduled hearing on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. Ensign decried the lawsuit seeking to block transfers of the children and told Judge Suknanen that the children were being sent back to Guatemala at the request of their families. And here are some of Drew Ensign's lies to the judge. Quote, "It's outrageous that the plaintiffs are trying to interfere with these reunifications," Ensign said at the August 31st hearing. Quote, "All of these children have parents or guardians in Guatemala who have requested their return." However, the report from Guatemala's Attorney General, filed with the court this week by lawyers representing the children, said none of the families who could be found actually sought the return of their kids. Judge Suknanen ordered a halt to the deportations after immigration advocates claimed the children had been denied due process and a chance for an advocate to challenge their deportation. The case is now in the hands of U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly, who was assigned to the case after Suknanen's initial order. Prior to the government's concession, Kelly raised questions about the discrepancy between what Ensign told Judge Suknanen and what the Guatemalan government reported about its interactions with the families. Ensign was not present for Wednesday's hearing, instead leaving the argument to Sarah Welsh, counsel to the Assistant Attorney General for the Justice's Civil Division. Welch said the administration, the DOJ's initial claim that parents had requested their children's return should be considered withdrawn. She, the new DOJ attorney, also lamented the government's rushed effort to rouse the children from bed and deport them overnight on a holiday weekend. Quote, "It was unfortunate that the children were frightened and pulled out in the middle of the night," Welch said. It's not the first time that Ensign's representations to the court have been called into question. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg questioned Ensign's accuracy during urgent proceedings related to President Donald Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act in March to hurriedly deport Venezuelan nationals he deemed part of a transnational gang. And U.S. District Judge Paulicini's questioned Ensign's lack of substantive information about the whereabouts of deported Salvadoran man Kilmar Abrego Garcia amid legal efforts to return him to the United States. So, friends, can we recap? Children were, quote, frightened, pulled out in the middle of the night, rushed on to waiting planes, apparently in violation of their due process rights, and DOJ attorney Drew Ensign lied to the judge, saying what? Quote, all of the children have parents or guardians in Guatemala who have requested their return. And Donald Trump's White House officials and allies bolstered Drew Ensign's lies by hammering on Judge Suknanen for denying the parents' requests that their children be deported back to Guatemala. You know, Donald Trump and Pam Bondi's DOJ officials are making a mockery of the court, of the judges, of the parents in Guatemala who said no such thing, and of the children who were terrorized and who had their due process rights trampled. You know what should happen next, friends? The judge should order Drew Ensign to show cause why he shouldn't be held in contempt for lying to the court. The judge should order Drew Ensign to show cause why he should not be barred from further court appearances, certainly in this case, but it sounds like Drew Ensign has real problems with truth and candor in other cases as well. DOJ officials, when they lie to the court, and they do it in furtherance of their attempt to trample the due process rights of children, they need to be held accountable. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.